My name is Mamadouba, and this is my Cognition Jump AWS project presentation. And the name of the project is Library Management System. And the objective with this project is to create and manage a non-relational database using AWS Cloud9 IDE. And more specifically, I'm creating a DynamoDB table and using this table to store and retrieve data. And I would like you to think of this project as, like, say we have a library that has a lot of book, and we're trying to manage all this book. So we're gonna have to categorize these books into different category. Let's say it's a fiction book, or it's like a history book. So, and also we're gonna have to specify the format of the book. Let's say if it's a hard copy or a paperback, something like that. So think of this project in that way, it will make more sense. And also, I used Python and Boto 3 to basically interact with the DynamoDB APIs. And the first thing I did with this project was to create a AWS account, which I did previously prior to this project. So that was the easiest part. And next, I created a Cloud9 IDE. And basically, I created an environment named DynamoDB Dive. And I mostly use, in terms of the settings, I use default settings, so there was not that much to do there. And I went on to download all my Python script, as you can see them here. When you first create the API on the Cloud9 IDE, it pulls out this file explorer here, and a file editor here, and a terminal. And after downloading my files, I went on to install Boto 3. I think it was up here somewhere. Yeah, I installed it using this command line sudo pip install Boto 3, but it didn't work as I was expecting. I went and did some little bit of research. Turned out I didn't need to use the sudo here, so I used the pip install Boto 3, and it worked perfect. It was working perfect. It downloaded successfully, as you can see here. And I went on to pull out my create file and created a table. And for this, basically I'm using primary key for the table, and I'm using hash key and range key for the title. The hash key is for the author here, as you can see, and the range is for the title. I went on to specify the unit of read and write capacity. And next, I think I loaded some item for testing the table. It was here, insert item. I use different a little bit of example, like author. In terms of category, I categorize them as author, title of the book, and format, and the category. Basically, those are the four things I used for examples. And I ran it on the terminal. It was successful also. And to test this example I created, I inserted in the table here, I use a query get item to pull out a single item in the database. And this was the script I use. And I'm using API get item here to pull out an author named John and the title name Rainmaker. And I ran it on the terminal here. I think it's here get item, and it was successful. It was able to pull the Rainmaker title, and author is John something. And next, I went on to do a query with the multiple item, and I used the API query here, and it was basically what the script is doing is pulling out every book by the author named John. So, and when I run it on the terminal here, it was successful also. It was able to pull out all the books named by the author named John. As you can see here, let's see, author John here, and author here also it's John. So it ran successfully. And next was to add a second index basically, and this is what the script is doing here. And for this, basically what I did was to use a global secondary index to search for a certain pattern in the table. And what it's doing basically is pulling out all the book in a specific category. And I ran it, it worked successfully at a secondary index. It was able to add a secondary index here. And I tested the index, and it worked successfully, but it took a little bit of time, but it worked successfully down here, as you can see here. And our category was suspense with S, starting with S. So S here suspense, and the category in the second book is suspense, and the category with the third book is suspense also. So it ran successfully. And next was to basically update an item in the table. And also this one was successful. I used the API update to do that. As you can see here, update item. And it ran successfully. And I tested it, it was running successfully. And the last part was to delete the table. I used delete table to do that, and the API delete table was able to delete the table successfully. So overall, the project worked as perfect as I expected. And what I've learned is with this project is that the way that DynamoDB can be manipulated and used to create table, update, and retrieve data from the table. And it was my first time using DynamoDB, and the project I think was fun. It was fun. The only little problem I had when I was creating the Cloud9 IDE, I had a little bit problem. It wasn't creating as first. For some reason, I don't know, but I end up changing the region. And when I changed the region to Eastern, I think, to Eastern, and I changed it to like Ohio or something like that, I think. Yeah, it worked perfect. So that was the only trouble I had there. And also in terms of installing sudo, I had a little bit of problem there. Like I told you previously, I had to do a little bit of research to find how to download the sudo 3. So overall, it was a fun experience, and thank you for listening to the video. Thank you.